Democrats are finding themselves in uncharted territory. They've switched up the ticket. It's a last-minute substitution. But with the party uniting around Vice President Harris as the standard bearer, eyes have turned to polling to see what the new political landscape actually is. And we have some good news in that regard. Harris is up by 44% to 42% over Trump in a Reuters Ipsos poll conducted Monday and Tuesday. Harris leads by an even wider 4-point margin, 42 to 38, in a hypothetical matchup with Trump when Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is polling at 8%, is on the ballot. The group's previous poll taken July 15th through 16th found Harris and Trump tied at 44%, while a July 1st and 2nd poll found Trump led by 1 point. Another poll by Morning Consult, also conducted after Biden ended his re-election bid, found Trump leads Harris by 2 points, 47 to 45. A 4-point improvement from Biden's 6-point polling deficit in Morning Consult surveys conducted before he exited the race. And that's national polling, so not necessarily reflective of the Electoral College map, but we do have some news on a swing state, a recent swing state, Georgia. This poll was also conducted entirely after Biden dropped out. In the poll, Trump leads Harris by just 1 in a head-to-head and by 2 with the third parties included. Both results well within the margin of error. All of these polls, it has to be stated, outperform Biden's recent results in the polling. Does this give you encouragement, Sharon?
Well, it does, if I believe or I aspire to have democracy, they're trending in the right direction. I'm here in Georgia. I can tell you her campaign has boosted its ground game and is really beefing up the resources here. So this is obviously a battleground state, but it's one that these two campaigns are gonna have to swing to the death. And I think death is an appropriate term for it, Jordan, because the polls you just read and the 4 or 6 point swing, I can't remember what you just said about that, but they're trending in the right direction. And that means this will be 104, 103, however many days left of the nastiest, most devilish, most hate-filled campaign that it's strange that we're saying this, that we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And the polling will continue to shift, and she'll also probably get a boost after the DNC. But I saw earlier today, she's already raised $126 million since Sunday. Over 1.4 million grassroots donors have chipped in, so that is a huge wave of energy. And over 100,000 people have signed up to volunteer. This is unthinkable. Just compare to where we were a week ago. The energy here is off the charts. So sure, in the first couple days, the polling already is encouraging, but there are instances where Trump is ahead. Of course, it's within the margin of error, but I don't think it's gonna last. When do you think you will start to see it really reflected in the polling, this wave of energy getting behind her now that Biden's out? Do you have an estimate?
I don't know if I have an estimate, but I'll listen. I've never conducted a poll, but it's never stopped me before from predicting things. I think that we will see with each poll more and more momentum, and this could end up. I barely want to voice it, but I'll go there. This could end up being ultimately Electoral College, the popular vote, a lot more distance between these two campaigns, with a winner and a loser than we previously thought. What Kamala Harris did and the team around her, whether it's Obama's team, part of Biden's campaign, still heavy entrenched in there, she stole the momentum from the GOP and their own convention and that lackluster speech and talking to the firefighter's jacket and just with what was that pad on the ear. I mean, it was just, she stole all of it. And I'm here for it. I've got on my brat color, or at least close to it, just because anyone but Trump, and now we have someone who is, I think most would agree, even those who weren't behind her 100%, there are people who are saying we have somebody who's competent, who can sprint across this finish line and expose this guy.
Well, while voters will largely be choosing between Harris and Trump, the VP pick still does matter. And we have some reports showing where Harris is leaning. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly have emerged as frontrunners for presumptive Democratic nominee Kamala Harris's choice of vice president. Other candidates are being considered as well, as Shapiro and Kelly are Roy Cooper of North Carolina and Andy Beshear of Kentucky. Another source added that Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are also being considered. Kevin Munoz, a spokesperson for Harris's campaign, dismissed any speculation about who could be her pick. Any reporting on developments or updates in Vice President Harris's running mate search are premature and speculative. Vice President Harris is considering a large pool of qualified candidates and will choose a partner that shares her commitment to fighting for the middle class, protecting Americans' freedoms, and protecting our democracy. And when that candidate is chosen, together, they will handily defeat the Trump-Vance ticket in November. Not expected to have a choice by virtual roll call to nominate Harris, but her VP selection is expected at or prior to the convention. Do you have any, Sharon, I want to bring you in here. Do you have any picks or predictions? Who do you think is a favorite in this internal jockeying for vice president?
But first, might I say that the statement you read from the campaign, it read like it was a love story. It was such a beautiful romance novel about what will happen. I'd like to think that Kamala Harris is going to pick someone who she has chemistry with. But I think that she can pick somebody who she doesn't know or get along with if it's going to put her at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and in the lead position in the Oval Office. That said, Mark Kelly could perhaps help her prosecute the case against gun violence. He's an accomplished, astronaut. He's an incredible human being and public servant. But I think Josh Shapiro, who's someone I have sat with for more than an hour, and conducted an interview. And I pride myself on being fairly obnoxious. I asked him whatever I wanted, and he answered it, and it was flawless. And then in a period where you have such a short time to vet, look, I'm sure none of these candidates have skeletons in their closet, but Josh Shapiro is with his high school sweetheart. He's got the picture perfect family story. He's governing in a battleground state that she has to have in Pennsylvania. He has, the children, the story, the Black community loves him in Pennsylvania, the kind of authentic, real, I've done my work, I've been at the cookout for decades kind of story. So I just think when you have limited time and you have someone who presents like this, and Obama, by the way, his campaign loves him and anointed him. So I think when you have Eric Holder doing the vetting, he probably has a leg up and he probably fits the bill.